Welcome everyone. My name is Julie Uval. I'm the head of marketing at Beck Technology. I'm very thrilled today to have our own customer success leader, John Reich, be able to show everyone some of the reporting changes and improvements that are coming in DESTINI Estimator. John, I am going to give you access to present and we're going to get started.
All right, thank you very much, Julie. Happy to be here today and telling you guys about some upcoming improvements to our product and some changes in how we're going to be doing things. First, wanted to talk about a little longer term outlook. A couple of new releases that are going to be coming in the little more distant future, probably first quarter of next year, is the alternates and enhanced fees modules. Alternates is going to be a really cool tool that's going to allow people to better parse out their base estimate with their alternates. So essentially it's going to be a separate window for the alternate estimates within Estimator. So it'll be a lot easier than the current WBS workflow that we've got in place. Secondly, enhanced fees. We do have some enhancements to the fee table in terms of better able to sort, better able to view how the fees are impacted, and differentiating between the base estimate fees and alternate fees. And also being able to do some compounding that's going to allow people to be a little more flexible and specific with the fees that they're using in Estimator. But the main thing we're here to talk about today is improvements to our reporting process, including a new tool that's going to be an enhanced Excel reporting out of the estimate view. We currently have an export directly out of the estimate view into Excel, and it gets the data out. But other than that, it's not really useful. It's not a really good looking sheet. It is not really a branded report in any way. The new improvements we've made allow you to report the data directly out of estimate view as it's viewed in the estimate and have it as a branded report that you can use as an actual deliverable to your owner. And the intent with this is essentially whatever you see on your screen is what you're going to see in the report. So any kind of flexibility or custom reports, I would recommend using the Excel reporting tool to customize that for a specific owner view or specific internal review, and really get off the standard reports in terms of customizing and showing specific pieces of data. On that note, standard reports are going to be coming out in the next couple weeks. By standard reports, we mean we are going to be treating our reports now as a piece of product that is going to be coming out. We will be maintaining them and we will be updating them over time. But what we found is that over the past several years, as we built reports for all of our customers, maintaining those reports over a customer base of several hundred clients, each with their own little nuances and specific ways of viewing the data, it was becoming a not tenable solution for us. And so what we've decided to do is move to a standard report that essentially everyone's going to be getting the same data out of the estimator. We're going to have 3 to start with, and we'll be moving to a 4th one when the alternates release comes out. But the idea is that keeping everyone up to date on the most current technology, the most current tools, the most current ways that we have of writing the report is going to be a lot easier to do whenever it's a standard, and then we'll be able to better maintain that and make sure that everyone has the best report technology going forward. So the first tool we'll show you here in just a minute is the Excel reporting tool, where you can actually, from your estimate view, you can select a formatted report. You can set up as many of these templates as you would like, and I'm going to encourage all of our clients to set up a layout in your estimate view so that it matches a specific report template. That's going to make it a lot easier for you to move back and forth between multiple reports, and you can basically set up any view you want to match up to a specific report in Excel. Once you get it, you can just save it out to wherever location you want. And this is the first draft of the output that we've put together. I actually have a newer one that I'm going to be showing you later today. But the big thing is you can see the grouping is exactly as we've shown up on the screen, and you can collapse the fields. You can collapse a grouping level and only output the overline quantity. So you can see here that I've collapsed the A10 foundations category, and the A10 foundations in the Excel report comes out collapsed as well. Best use case scenario for this would be your GC estimate. If you wanted a GC and GR estimate in your estimator view for internal review purposes, but when you want to print a report, you don't want it to come out with all the detail, you can definitely do that, and you can roll that up and collapse it. Or if you wanted to collapse any other WBS property, that would work as well. The Excel reporting tool also reacts to your filters. So whatever you have filtered down to in your estimate, it will filter down to in the Excel reporting tool as well. So now we're going to go through a couple of the standard reports that we're going to be pushing out. The first one is the standard owner's report. Pretty basic. It's just got a executive summary on the front sheet, and then the line item detail would follow. But you can see on the left-hand side that we still have all of the drop downs and selections in terms of various features that we're going to have. You can do 4 levels of grouping, you can filter at each level, and you can also roll up at each level as well if you want. So the second standard report would be the breakdown of cost with a little more detail in terms of labor, material, sub, equipment, and other. Features are the same in terms of the parameters and the roll-ups on the left-hand side, but the report actually will give you just more detail in terms of unit costs and total costs for each of the cost categories. The self-perform report is essentially the same as the previous one in terms of the data it shows, except it adds this crew type productivity and the total man hours for the line item in question. And then the fourth report, like I said earlier, when the alternates module comes out, we are going to provide a standard report that also gives you an alternate summary. You can have the alternates viewed by accepted status or other WBS properties that will be attached to them, like wish list, value engineering, so you can actually differentiate between your alternates in that way. So big thing, if you are interested in testing these features out, we are still looking for some people to test out the standard reports next week if we can. If you're interested, please let us know. You can email customersuccess@becktechnology.com. The Excel reporting tool will be going into our pre-production environment, and we would love to get some people, some clients in to test that against our data. We will not have any client data on that server, but you can go in and start kicking the tires on it and see how it's going to work for you. So, big question on the standard reports. If you don't want the standard reports, if you have a custom report that is very important to you in your business and you would like to continue maintaining that, we will not be able to continue maintaining that, but we do have third-party consultants that we can help you with, help refer you to, that would help maintain those reports going forward. But the idea is that we cannot keep up with maintaining those for all of our clients over this much work. It's just not a tenable option for us. Good news, current workflows and reporting. So if you do have a custom report that you want to keep up with, you don't have to do anything, it'll still work. We aren't changing anything that will make the current reports not work. The only problem that you're going to run into is when that alternates module comes out, you may not be able to take advantage of that new piece without updating that report. So hopefully that solves all your problems for the reports, and I'm going to go through and show you an actual demo of the Excel reporting tool first, and then we'll go into the standard reports after that. So essentially I have a full estimate here, and if let's say I wanted to filter that down to only show one of the buildings, and then I'm going to collapse a couple of these fields so that they don't show up on the Excel report. Once I've made those changes and go run the formatted report, again, I can select from any of the templates. This is a 3-level sort, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. Choose where I'm going to save it. Then run an export. Now this is going to take a couple of minutes just to be able to dump the data out into Excel in the manner that I've laid it out. But a couple notes that I want to make sure everyone sees. The overline quantities that I selected on this estimate they will carry out to the report in Excel. The breakdown of cost, everything will match. The filter will react to the exact manner that I've got it filtered on the screen. It is truly a what you see is what you get report dumping out into Excel. One other note is it does not carry any of the mathematical operations that are native to Estimator. It will only dump out the data as numbers, and there is no math being performed. So if you wanted to, you could probably make that work, but that's something you'd have to do in Excel outside of the estimator. The fee table is also going to be exported. It's going to be at the very bottom, but you can change that in your layout if you want.
Hey, John, I have a question that's come in, so we're waiting for the report to generate. The question is the fee table showing up in the detailed version standard report?
Great question. The standard report has the option to show the fee table or the option to turn off the fee table. That is one of the parameters that you can select on that left-hand side. So it's up to you. Okay, so now you can see it is the estimate has dumped out into Excel. It has a standard breakdown like we laid out. It also has the rolled up areas that I had in the estimate view. I'm going to change the view just so we can see the full view of the estimate. Up here in the headers, there is additional project information, which I have designated. You can have any project property that you want to view in your report can be pushed out to estimate or pushed out to Excel to run in that report. So you can make it a logo, you can put in the project name, project version. In this case, I've got client name, location, and I've got 2 areas that I wanted to put in based on project properties. So, and I'm sorry, I did not have this open to start with. Let me find the Excel template. So everything is going to be built off of this template. So first place you want to go to is this styles. This is where you can brand the report and make the data look in whatever manner you want it to look. So if you wanted the header row to be red, you would just go in and make that edit. Now it's going to show up as red in the actual report when I export that. You can make any of the fonts, any of the colors, any of the font conditions that you want here in this styles page. Second place you want to go to is you want to look at this preview area. This shows you basically how the report is going to lay out whenever you export it out to Excel. So in this case, I have a header row, and then as I go down in WBS properties, property levels, I can indent those so that it shows up a little more cleanly on the Excel side. Also, you can see down here, our default is just we have a fee header. The fee table is going to be to the right side of the screen, down in columns H through J. All right, so now we get into the main piece. And so you see these $, estimate, $. These $, designate tokens. That is basically the language that allows translation between Estimator and Excel. One thing I want to note though is in these headers, you can put in any kind of token that you want. So in this case, I've got estimate name, version name. You can make these changes as much as you want. You can put in start dates, you can put in your own logos. So really any data that you've got in Estimator that is natively presented, you can pull into this report and you can display it in whatever manner you choose. All right, so again, I think this is going to be a great tool. If you wanted specific information or specific data out of your estimate viewed into a report, this is going to be a fantastic tool for you to use. All right, so now I'm going to get into the standard reports. We're going to go through 3 different standard reports here. So again, same estimate here. I'm going to run first the owner's report. And again, this is going to take me probably a minute to run, mainly because I'm on a webinar. It was running a lot faster yesterday with no other data connection. So this is going to run just like your standard reports that you probably have currently. However, the big difference is going to be all this functionality we've added to the left-hand side. So again, this is some clients have some of these tools. So we've wanted to make sure that we updated everyone to be essentially on the same platform at the same time. So again, I'm going to show, I'm going to put a page break in, then I'm going to go in and add my groupings for my drop downs. And if I wanted to, in this example, if I wanted to say I'm going to roll up my foundations or filter my foundations, I can do that. Or I can also do a roll up where it would collapse them. Again, the best example for this would be a GC estimate if you put that into your estimate. So now I'm going to go ahead and submit that and run it. And you can see basically dumps out a pretty good looking report. Our reports team has done a great job in building these out. So again, you can see that it's rolled up that A10 foundations to be a single line item. You can do that with any WBS property at any level in terms of the roll up and the filter. All right, so now I'm going to run a couple of the other ones. First one, I'm going to run the cost breakdown by labor, material, equipment, sub, and other. Probably won't go through the parameters just because we've already shown that, and those are no different between this estimate and this report and the owner's report. So again, now you're going to be able to see that there is a full breakdown of cost across the columns. So you can see every type of cost. Again, the parameters over here on the left-hand side are going to be largely the same across all of the estimates, or all the reports, I should say. Okay, then the last one would be the self-perform report, where we're actually going to be able to see a crew and labor hours attached to that crew. All right, so now you can see that we've got the same basic look and layout, and you can see the crew, productivity, and total hours for that line item. So again, I think these are going to be fantastic tools for everyone. One thing I do want to make sure we note is on the standard reports, there is going to be some lessonly training, actually for both the Excel reporting tool and the standard reports. We're going to have some lessonly training. We're going to have articles on the Help Center and our customer success team. You can always reach out to us. We can help walk you through getting those up and running. If you need help rebranding any of those reports, we're more than happy to help walk you through that process and get you up and running. But the intent is we can help you walk through the rebranding, but if there's any customization, we really are going to try to steer you towards that Excel reporting tool because we feel that's really going to serve your needs much better. So Julie, are there any other questions that we need to address while we're here?
Yes, we do. Before I get to the questions, I am going to let everyone know in the chat, John did mention about emailing customer success at beck-technology.com if you're interested in testing out the reports. Also, everyone should have received the customer newsletter this morning. It came out 7:30 a.m. Central Time, and in that email, there is a form in there, the PPE interest form. You can click that button and fill out that form, and then that way you know that you're interested in upcoming features that you want to beta test. Okay, John, one of the questions that came in is, will any highlighted rules come across in the reports?
That is a very good question, and I do not know the answer to that because I have not tested that yet. As far as I believe, the highlight rules will not come over, but we can definitely test that and make sure that we post that on the community to let everyone know.
Awesome. I appreciate that question coming in. Next question is, when is this Excel reporting tool going to be available? This looks really useful.
Totally agree that it's going to be really useful. I believe the projected PPE is in the next couple of weeks. Usually the PPE process is about a month of testing. So it would probably be November timeframe. But again, that's pending testing goes smoothly. We don't find any issues with it, but we'll make sure that we keep the community updated on when it will be going live.
And it's also very important. We keep asking for testers, and the more customers that we can get beta testing it, the faster that we can get it released. And the company's intent is to release those in Q4 of this year. Does this push the report out to Excel only, or would Google Sheets work as well?
I would have to double check, but I believe it just exports it out as an XLSX file, and it is saved as such. So whenever you go to open it, if Google Sheets can open that format, or whatever the Apple version is, I can't remember what that's called. If it can open that file format, it should be able to open this as well. You might lose some of the formatting and things like that that are attached to it, just because I know that sometimes those things don't play nice between different platforms. But once the file's saved, it's saved where you've got it, so you can get access to it from any other program.
Awesome. All right, will the report from Estimate View functionality remain? Simple export of the data in the Estimate View unformatted.
Yes, so if you can see here, there's an unformatted report. It'll just dump out exactly like we've been doing before.
Cool. Is there a way to give an owner a more interactive report, like a Power BI estimate report?
Well, we do have some Power BI templates that BECTEC has provided to customers, and if you don't have one, you can reach out to customer success, and we'll make sure to get those in your hands. I also know some of our clients have built out very custom Power BI dashboards that are very interactive. So there's definitely ways to do that. The data is out there, but it is not something that we natively or we provide as part of our product at this point.
Let's see, will the user be able to set a default report for specific projects so that the same report can be used on every project, on every print at every milestone without having to recreate the drop-down selection every single time they print?
So, and I'd have to, I believe we will have some designation on the standard reports that allows you to see what selections you have, what you've made. So we will not be able to lock in those drop downs natively. I'm sure there's ways you could put the code in, and we could probably help walk you through what steps you could take to do that. But I believe that the standard report will have a piece of data at the bottom of it that allows you to see what selections were made so that you can recreate it.
All right, this next question is coming from a user who has a self-hosted environment of Estimator. And they're asking, how will our logo and color branding be handled in the standard reports?
Great question. The logo and color branding, you will be able to modify those in any manner you wish. Once with the REPX files go out, you can use the report editor that we provide to all of our users to go in and just essentially drop a new picture file, rebrand the colors, rebrand the fonts, change all that on your specific report file. And again, customer success, we are customer success at bec-technology.com. We're more than happy to walk you through that process, and we're also going to have Lessonly content that will be there for you to learn how to do it on your own. But the intent is any logo changes, any color changes, you should be able to do that on your own with a little bit of guidance and training on our side.
And I do know that our training team and our support team are working on that documentation, so you'll be able to walk yourself through it if you want to do the on-demand piece of it. All right, this next question. The user wants to know if you can see it both ways. So they're talking about unit per man hour and man hour per unit option on the standard self-report. Standard self-perform reports. Can they see it both ways, or is it just one way or the other?
On the self-perform report, I believe you can just see hours and Let me double check to be sure. But I believe you can only see crew and total hours. Now, in the estimate view, in your cost information view, you can toggle between units per man hour and man hours per unit. So that is not going to change in the estimate view. But on the report itself, it is currently only set up for this type of detail, where you can just see units per hour. But we can absolutely look at that as a enhancement request and see if we can add that as a parameter on the reports in the future.
I like it. Is there a way to remove or change the color blocks at the headers for the reports? Is that a customization?
It would be a customization, but again, it's not too terribly difficult. You would just go into the report editor and modify the color of that band, and that's a fairly simple thing to do. And we again, customer success, we're more than happy to help walk you through that process of how to do that and guide you through it so that you can then modify your reports further on your own if you need to.
And this next question I'm going to answer. So the question is, are there PPE options for firms that are not hosted by BEC? So if you do not have Estimator in the cloud, you can do PPE beta testing in your own environment. We recommend that your company set up a sandbox environment in order to test it, but we do offer that capability for for the on-prem users of Estimator. All right, John, next question. People are putting in some tough questions for you, so I appreciate this. It's always good to have good questions on a Friday. Our current report has an option to hide unit costs and only show scope descriptions for design review. Will that be available in the standard report?
I do not believe that is in the standard right now. But again, we are more than happy to look at potential improvements going forward. And also, I want to stress that your reports that you have are still going to work. So we're not taking that away. The only time that your current reports will be affected is when we add a major new piece of functionality like alternates, and your reports will still work with your base estimate, and that's never going to change. It just might not be able to access the alternates in the way you can right now. But it does not look like we can, that is an option that we have currently. But again, that is where I would say your Excel reporting tool would be useful. You could set up a view where, let's see, this is not even the right version. I could just set up I could just take off all the cost information out of my view, and now I can export, the line items and quantities even. So again, if you wanted to send this out as a bid package to your trades, you could show quantities. You could even take quantities off and just say, I just want to show line items descriptions only and units of measure. You could even put this out as a bid form for them to fill out by bid trade if you wanted to. I think there's a lot of possibilities, and there's a lot of unexplored territory with this Excel reporting tool.
All right, I know we only have a couple minutes left, and we're going to try to get to all the questions. However, if we don't, please know that we will follow up with you to make sure that your question is answered. The next one I have is, in the standard report, can you select a custom WBS property you created in the estimate, or are you limited to the default WBS?
Yeah, so we tested this out yesterday, and WBS properties, custom WBS properties will be supported. So they will populate into that drop down.
Will the standard report tool editor, which is DevExpress, remain under the reports menu?
I do not know the answer to that one. I'm assuming you mean this report wizard here. As far as I know, that is still going to be there. We have not had any discussions to remove it. I know in hosted environment, you actually have access to it also. So in hosted, this report designer, that is the report editor. So you would still have access to it there.
All right. John, this is going to be our last question. And then again, if we did not get to your question, we will make sure that we do follow up with you. Does importing rates via a rate setter sheet impact what the report actually prints?
Can you repeat that? I'm trying to get my head around it.
Does importing rates via a rate setter sheet impact what the report actually prints?
So I'm assuming for that, they're talking about this labor, the self-perform report where it presents the crew type in the report. It should not affect anything. The only data that it is actually pulling is, so this crew type here, let me find that line item and I can show you. So that is basically this crew that's listed in your labor cost. So whether it's a custom created rate resource group or whether it's from your database, as long as it's listed in this labor cost field, it should show up on the report with that name and the productivity that's attached to that.